Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the analysis of YOLENO TV. I hope you're well from wherever you're watching this channel. Now, indeed, politics is like a game of chess. Checkmate your opponent. I want to take you to a clip. And this clip, you will be shocked maybe, or you will agree with the contents, but personally, I was a bit shocked. One funny thing is that this clip is about William Ruto's statement talking about Africa is not after handouts.
We have been clear and consistent in our advocacy. Africa is neither seeking handouts nor asking for charity. We are a continent of sovereign people who aspire to grow in a just multilateral system.
That is William Ruto saying those words. I know you're as shocked as I was when I first heard about those words, but nevertheless we still must delve deep into this message that William Ruto has unleashed. And that was a gathering of the African heads of state who converged from the Africa Development Fund, Africa Development Bank annual general meeting, which took place at KICC, and that event was today, the 29th of May 2024. So why do you think William Ruto could have chosen to make such kind of statement? I want us to explore that statement, but before you do that, please like this video. I have noticed that so many people forget to like our video, and if you don't like our video, YouTube doesn't share our video to so many other people. Please. And if you're a viewer who wasn't subscribed, please subscribe to our channel, and to existing subscribers, thank you so much for making this channel grow. Nobody would have expected that William Ruto would make this kind of statement, you see, 5 days or 4 days after leaving the US, where he had gone for the US state visit. Of course, this message cannot sit well with the West. The West has always looked at Africa or seen Africa as a dumping site, you know, for their second-hand clothes, seen Africa as a continent that is always after handouts, after charity. That's why you find that there are so many charities, so many, you know, NGOs in Africa. So Ruto is telling the West, because this message really it's going to the West, that we are not after handouts and we are not after charity. One thing that I know, and I think you also know, is that the West is not happy when they see a united Africa. I mean, an Africa that is speaking under one voice. An Africa that will not depend on the World Bank or IMF for financing. An Africa that will depend on its own African Finance Fund. Let me take you back to a story of the Tower of Babel, whereby, going by the book of Genesis, it says that after the flood, God commanded humanity to increase in number and fill the earth. But they did not. Instead, they said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city with a tower that reaches to the heavens, so that we may make a name for ourselves and not be scattered over the face of the whole earth." The books still tell us that God was furious with man for building the Tower of Babylon in an attempt to reach the heavens and usurp him. As history would have it, they woke up and realized that they could not speak common language like before, and as a result, the mission failed dismally. And what does this story tell us? Very simple, ladies and gentlemen. When Africa is united and Africa has a common currency for trading, a move that has been championed by the African Exim Bank, if that is to happen, the dollar will suffer. That's why you find that last year but one, there's always been the talk or the call for de-dollarization, and this move was championed by the likes of Paul Kagame, likes of Malema. Even William Ruto made a statement. He made a statement about the de-dollarization, you know, the need to to reduce the over-reliance on dollar. And like in my previous analysis, I talked about that call that the moment you touch US dollar and try to figure out how US dollar will be made weak, that is the time you pick a fight with the US. So this message that William Ruto unveiled during the Africa Development Annual General Meeting will of course not sit well with Biden, who has promised a lot of goodies to Kenya. The expectation from Biden probably would have been that William Ruto would have championed the agenda of the US, not the agenda of this kind of unity, a unity that the West do not want to see happen. Lately, I've been thinking about why is it that the West are always cautious when it comes to financing conflict-prone areas, but when it comes to mining minerals, they are always targeting conflict-prone areas. It is not risky to mine in conflict-prone areas, but it's risky to invest in a conflict-prone area, or rather country. You know, for those who've been following the story of Africa, or been following geopolitics, even following the issue of Haiti there, that Asian country, or if you've been following the history of Sierra Leone and the Blood Diamond, or what happened in DRC, you know, those are regions which have been prone for or known for either gold or diamond. Like for the case of Sierra Leone, we all know that France took advantage of that nation. There is the issue of Burkina Faso, the issue of France, of Niger, and so many other countries in Africa have had to reject the influence of France in their countries. Why? Because France took advantage of their minerals. That's why you find that Macron is now suffering. Macron is suffering a total rejection of Africa, the nations which they colonized. So William Ruto's statement here regarding the same was that he posed a very important question, and let me take the honor of reading this question to you. He asked, why is it safe to mine in conflict-prone areas, but it's risky to land in those areas? So this was a question, and Ruto was literally trying to poke holes. And this was targeting countries like France, countries like US, countries like UK, and countries like Germany. But Germany is your sana evil, but these other three countries, yes. The bottom line here was trying to find out the West hypocrisy, the level of the West hypocrisy. Mind you, Paul Kagame was one of those people who attended this meeting. And you know, Paul Kagame has been telling off the West against their habit of always taking advantage of Africa, the resources, and deny Africa the right to grow. So this fact that the Africa Development Bank, the Afri-Exim Bank, you know, the fact that they are coming together, try to find a financial solution that will seek to finance Africa countries without even the involvement of IMF, without the involvement of the World Bank. This matter is not sitting well with the likes of US and UK, because the loans that the World Bank provide to African states, these loans are regarded to be very, very expensive. They're expensive to a level whereby now they only benefit those countries, the big countries, but to the disadvantage of African countries. So that's why you find that African countries cannot develop, because you are always given huge loans so that you can always repay these loans. You will never grow. So the fact that there is the African Fund, which has been a common agenda that has been talked about, people like Malema have been talking about this, the fact that that is a discussion is one of the reasons why the West cannot be happy. The West cannot be happy, because that will make them weak. Dollar will be weak if Africa trade in its own currency. Dollar will be weak. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you make of this revelation, especially with the statement from William Ruto? Because the statement has come at a time whereby William Ruto was expected to preach the policies of US, support US. Now that William Ruto is not doing that, what do you think is going to happen with the US support of Kenya? The NATO thing? Is the NATO call still going to to work, because US talked about making Kenya a NATO, I don't know, something like a NATO member. You know, that means you can utilize the weapons, US weapons, NATO weapons. You can utilize them without even being a member. And it's a league that in Africa, Kenya will be the first country to be a member and a NATO member. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to rest my case there, but just go below the comment section and offer your reaction to the same. So perhaps if you're watching this video and you're not subscribed, take 1 second and subscribe, like this video. So until you catch up again, stay safe and stay blessed.